You ready, Sage?
I am ready.
I'm Rage.
I'm Sage.
And today we're hanging out on dbzdokenbattlewikia.com.
With Knack 2, baby.
And Knack 2.
You seen that donkey video?
Yes, I love Donkey. So on to more serious reporting, minus that my mouse is now a Vegeta on this webpage. And why we're here is that I was trying to Google search images of Jeff Kaplan, and I found this picture, which I love him in this picture. And so I feel like his face really describes it. But it really comes back to Jeff Kaplan developer update that came out a little bit. Sage brought this to my attention. And so, Sage, why don't you give a quick recap of what Jeff's talking about? And let's kind of give our own little thoughts on it with Jeff's face right there, which sums up everything.
So, essentially, Jeff Kaplan put out an update. Usually these updates are like new maps, new modes, new characters, all that good stuff. Occasionally you'll have like a patch update. But Jeff today decided to talk about the issue with toxicity and just the bad player base that Overwatch has seemed to accumulate over time. That's not to say that everyone who plays Overwatch is bad, but there is a significant portion that kind of likes to tilt, ruin games and such, So Jeff decided to address that.
In the video, Jeff, in his developer update, talks about anonymity.
Yeah.
And how it can create an atmosphere where you feel like you could treat someone where you wouldn't treat them normally if you were face-to-face with them. And I think it's a bigger, broader, I don't know, almost ethical, political subject to get into that I don't think we want to get into on that level. But in gaming, anonymity plus any type of time put into anything like a game or a competition or anything like that, or a match, people's investment of their time plus their anonymity equals when things don't go the way I want to, I'm going to be an asshole.
Yeah, and I think it also goes back to the general idea, people don't like to lose.
No, I mean, nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what, I can't wait to play Overwatch, and then just get totally screwed by a mercy play using their ult and reviving the whole team at the last moment. Now, granted, there was a patch to fix that, but example that I give. Nobody enjoys that. But at the same time, anonymity creates this, and we're going to use the buzzword of toxicity that Jeff uses in his update. Those are his own words, toxic players, toxicity to deal with. In that people feel that they can get away with treating other people like garbage.
Yeah.
And to a degree, Jeff is right on the money, in which he talks about how the new reporting system allows players to report, but they're having to spend more time dealing with bad players. The amount of accounts banned from the new reporting system, he said, we're in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And so he's talking about how the same developers that have to deal with these reports are the same developers that would have been dealing with making new animated shorts, cinematic sequences, maps, and other heroes. And so you get into the debate of community, you want all this stuff and you want more new things, but Big Daddy Jeff has come in here with a Vegeta punch bam to the face saying, the more you act like crap, the more we have to deal with you and the less content we can make.
Yeah, which makes sense. And, he talked about in the video that if you are a toxic player, like, someone who truly does throw matches, tilt, and all that, he doesn't want you in the game. He doesn't want to create a space for you to be toxic. He just doesn't want you playing Overwatch.
Yeah, and I thought that was a very bold statement by him. And Jeff words things better than you and I are here by a lot. And he's very nice and placates to all areas of the audience listening to the update. And he's very politically correct when he speaks. He's talking about creating an atmosphere of positivity. Yeah. And other things like that. But at the same time, I love how it was a bold statement to say, we don't want you playing Overwatch.
Yeah, he didn't mince words there. He said, we don't want to create a space for you.
Exactly. And a lot of other games and their servers and stuff do that, where it's kind of like the toxic, quote-unquote, buzzword players.
The garbage server, basically.
Yeah, go there, and they all just, troll each other and get each other tilted and everything else like that. And I'm not a big Overwatch player. I play a lot of World of Warcraft. And the anonymity in there just gets crazy. And it's like I said, it's time investment, something goes wrong, anonymity, time investment plus anonymity equals, time investment lost because of another player possibly, or some play that you disagree with, that you don't even were there, equals I'm going to treat this person like garbage. And so Jeff in the video gets to this point where he goes, I've said bad things on the internet. And I really want to put this in perspective for people. Before Jeff Kaplan worked for Blizzard, he played EverQuest.
Yeah.
See, in World of Warcraft, people join the LFR raids or even raid teams themselves. You get that one guy in your raid team or your guild that's just a complete jerk when you wipe on some silly mechanic. And it's only been like 20 minutes worth of time on the poll and all the explanation. Maybe 2 hours at maximum of wiping that night, and finally somebody bursts their bubble. Overwatch, you join, whatever, area bracket league you're in. And you go in maybe 10, 15 minutes into the match, at maximum, something bad goes wrong, and you flip out, you know what I mean? We're talking about a guy who played EverQuest, where you would raid anywhere from 8 to literally 20 hours straight.
Yeah.
And somebody screws up then. Yeah, back then, I think people treated each other better over 20 hours to 8 to 20 hours worth of time investment. They treated each other better over time investment lost plus anonymity than we do today over 20 minutes. And so I feel like Jeff's developer update is actually a good reflection of our culture as a whole. We feel like 20 minutes of our time is worth enough to devalue somebody else for maybe an honest mistake. Now, are there bad players? Do people make bad plays? Should you be critical of them and help them grow as a player and be like, hey, you could have done this, you should have done that? That's fine, even in an assertive manner where you're kind of a little rough with them. If they aren't getting it, that's fine. That's a way for people to grow. And sometimes you need to take constructive criticism, and it's hard. But it's the players that are completely out there to tilt others, use derogative words, not give any constructive criticism, just criticism, that devalues the player base as a whole. And we feel that 20 minutes of our time is worth treating another person like crap. And the ultimate rule is, whether you have the anonymity of the internet or not, and I play World of Warcraft, there's times where when I'm in a private channel with people, I will bad talk people left and right. But if they were in the channel with me, I wouldn't say that to their face. Why? Because there's a human being on the other end of the keyboard. Through all the cables and all the internet, there's a human being there. And so, will I say it to my friends, be like, oh, this person's DPS sucks, and I can't believe they're bringing us down? Yeah, I'll talk to my friends that way. But if they were in the channel, I'd be like, hey, what can we do to help you get this down? How can we help you with your talents? Just like in Overwatch, hey, that main is not working out for you. I mean, I know everybody wants to play Hanzo main, but maybe it's time to switch to something else.
Yeah.
That type of stuff can create a community of positivity like Jeff is talking about, even through constructive, assertive criticism.
Well, and, it goes back to the whole thing. There's a good way to handle it and a bad way to handle it. It'd be like if you were raiding in WoW and someone made a bad play, they messed up a mechanic or something, and you decided, I'm done with this. So instead of handling it like an adult, you decide, I'm just going to wipe the whole raid.
Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of stuff that goes on in Overwatch. One person makes a play, you don't agree, I'm just going to throw the whole thing.
Yeah, and then there's the reverse that'll also happen. Someone tries to give some help, say, hey, you're playing Widow, you're just not making the picks, could you please switch?
Mm-hmm.
And the Widow player will then tilt and,
and then go and throw the game themselves because constructive criticism came their way.
Yeah, it's on both sides. It's not just, people who are playing bad and, just trolling.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's also some people aren't taking the advice of others. And yeah, sometimes people are jerks about it, because, some people say, stop throwing the match, you effing suck, knock it off.
Yep.
Tone it back, reel it in. But at the other side, if you're truly not getting value, don't try and say, oh, I got gold eliminations, or I got gold damage. If your team's losing, your team's losing, and something has to be done,
Exactly, like numbers don't lie. There's so much damage going out, so much, healing going in, so much tanking going on.
Yeah, because there's something like trash damage. If you're shooting barriers, sure, you could have gold damage, but that doesn't mean you're winning.
Exactly. And so your team is losing for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right that it goes both ways, in that, again, it goes back to what I said, the formula. Personal time investment, and then I'm going to add this word to it, plus egocentrism, plus anonymity, equals I'm a dick.
Yeah.
And I can get away with whatever I want because there's no repercussions. And I love Jeff's developer update. Here's the repercussion. Maybe you don't have to deal with the player themselves that you've done this to. Maybe you don't have to deal with the people that you've tilted. Maybe you don't have to deal with the team that you threw the match for. But when we have to deal with you, we can't create. We can't make more for you. We have to deal with you. And basically, Jeff comes in. Big brother Jeff here with a Vegeta on his shoulder comes riding in, power level over 9,000, saying, don't make us play daddy. Don't make us play big brother. Do your job. Play the game. Enjoy it. And I think that was the great point that he got to multiple times in his developer update was...
we have to look inward.
We have to look inward as a community. And I think this is a statement that Jeff makes towards Overwatch, but applies to gamers and gaming community as a whole online. And the thing that I said earlier in the video, there is a human being on the other end of the keyboard. Can you think it? Can you say it to your friends in private tells? Go nuts! You have the right to vent. You have the right to be upset. Yes, it is your time that is being wasted. But your right to be a jerk ends at the fact that there's another human being at the other end of the keyboard.
Don't go tearing someone down just because you're upset about something. You know, would you like it if someone started ripping into you when you make a mistake?
Yep.
You know?
So I'm curious, Sage and I would love to hear your thoughts down below. I'm curious if it sparks up a little bit of debate. You just got stuff to say to us. And obviously we all make this mistake. We all tilt another player sometimes when we lose control. We're human beings and we're not always in control of ourselves. Sometimes we just get emotionally time invested. And we feel like our investment isn't paying off.
Sometimes you just gotta take a step back, take a deep breath, and move on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm Rage.
I'm Sage, and if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Jeff, what do you think?